Oftentimes, animes don't really have an ending, either because the anime just wasn't really popular enough, or maybe the animation studio didn't receive the green light, or maybe, I don't know, something happened and they just didn't do it. But when animes do have an ending, they are pretty fine, unless they're not. Happy anime endings kinda suck. I remember the first time that I watched an anime and felt disappointed by its ending. The name of that anime is Golden Time, and overall Golden Time is pretty good, except the ending. But to explain why the ending of Golden Time is so disappointing, at least to me, I'm going to have to give context to the ending, aka explain the anime, aka spoiling some major plots, which by the way, I'm going to explain very badly. Golden Time is about a guy who gets amnesia, moves out of town to another town. Man, I really need to get better at writing scripts. And then meets a girl, which then he falls in love with, and then the girl eventually falls in love with him also. The anime goes on in some side plots, then it's revealed that his past memories are coming back, which is good. Well, the thing is, while he's starting to remember again, he's also forgetting his present memories, which means he's going to forget the girl he loves. The anime basically tells you that the love between these two are almost inconceivable. And so when you're getting to those last episodes and you see the struggle of both of the protagonists have, that's when it really hits you that there's no other way. Eventually, in the anime, the guy just forgets it all and moves to where he used to live. The show becomes rather bitter, from a somewhat happy anime to a inescapable sad ending. The girl somewhat starts to accept that he may not remember her, and as a last-ditch effort, she goes to the guy's house just to see if he would remember her, but he doesn't. The girl realizes that he most likely will never remember her, leaving the door and not turning back. And although he doesn't remember her, she does, treasuring those memories that seem so mundane, but now with a whole new meaning, a very tragic emotional ending. That's what I would have liked to say, but yeah, that doesn't happen. What happens is that he regains all of his memories at the very last second, and then he chases her, and they live happily ever after. So pretty much all of the emotions you ever felt, all of the tension that there ever was, pretty much gone. There's another anime that I watched long time after I finished Golden Time. That anime is Plastic Memories. Plastic Memories is basically an anime about a guy who gets a job at an Android facility and then gets a companion which happens to be an android. Then, through the episodes, they fell in love. But there's a problem. All androids, with no exceptions, have a time limit of 9 years, in which their memories will be reset, and if not, well, they will go berserk. At the beginning of the anime, it's not really about the protagonists having a time limit, but more about doing their job. But the part that I want to focus on is the very last part, in which they realize they don't have much time left, mainly because she only has 3 months left. The anime becomes a little bit of a slice of life, where both of the protagonists are not doing much, but there's a certain tension, because these mundane things that they are doing are the last things that they will ever do together. Eventually you get to the final episode, and you see them go into their last trip, going into the same Ferris wheel they went in the beginning of the anime. At the climax of the story, they kiss, and the inevitable happens. Even though the show has told you multiple times that this would happen, it is still hard to believe this would be the outcome. There's a final scene that I really like, and it is the post-credit scene of that same final episode. The protagonist comes back to work at the same office he was working at after being in a training course for 9 months. Everyone greets him, and because he is in that line of work, he needs another partner. So he is presented with his new partner, which happens to be the same android. The thing I like about this scene is that she is never in screen. At least not entirely. I feel like the reason she was not shown is because that would have taken away the feeling that she is truly gone. Also, by not showing her, it could also be a symbolic way of saying that she is a different character despite being the same android. At the end of all, the guy shakes hands with his new partner in a representation of moving on while being happy with his memories. And that's how the anime ends. The slice of life aspect of plastic memories bears so much weight. That's what I personally like about this ending. If you rewatch Plastic Memories, it still bears all of those emotions and more, because you know that it will always end like that. Golden Time also has these slice of life aspects, but once you finish the anime, it kinda stops bearing any sense of tension. So if you rewatch the anime, you know that nothing bad will happen, so these scenes of slice of life are just slice of life, nothing else. The difference between these two animes is that one spoon feeds you a happy ending, even if it doesn't really make sense at all. Even if it breaks its own rules doing so, just so you don't feel that bitter ending. And the other one fully embraces the bittersweet ending, acknowledging what they say at the beginning of the show, instead of pretending to be a happy anime ending. Real Life is an anime about a guy who can't get and hold a job because of traumatic events that he witnessed. Because of that, his life is a mess, having to borrow money from his parents, which they stop sending. One night after getting drunk, he gets approached by someone telling him he has been selected as a test subject in an experiment which will last a year, which he will get paid for his living expenses, and he might even get a job at the end of the experiment. The experiment is basically taking a drug that will make him look younger, like a high schooler, and he also has to go to a high school for a year. And so the anime starts, and a lot of things happen, but since this video is about anime endings, once again I'm going to focus in the last part of the anime and the OVA. Throughout the episodes, these two fall in love, which is shown in episode 13, where they go to see the fireworks just to realize they like each other. But once again, there's a problem. At the beginning of the anime, it's explained that at the end of the experiment, all of the people he ever met, their memories of him will be erased. How does that make sense? How is that legal? Good question. And because both of them are participating in the real life experiment, both of them will forget each other. And so the last 4 episodes becomes really sad, because now it is established that they will not be able to remember that they were in love. And even so, they still confess to each other, which makes the anime even more sad. Eventually, the end of the school year arrives, and they have to say goodbye to each other, knowing that that will be the last time. And so, the real-life experiment ends. In an attempt to remember, the girl writes a message for her when she wakes up, but it's found out and it's erased, even though the real-life researcher doesn't really want to do it.
Why did you write it there, where it's so easy for me to find?
Time passes and the guy gets the job of a real-life researcher because he wants to help people like they did to him. In a gathering of employees, he finds the same girl, but of course he doesn't remember. Eventually they find themselves outside ready to leave, but it's raining, so they start talking and then they remember everything. Yeah, nothing more. That's all. I like the anime and I think it's pretty cool, but to me the ending, it's kinda lazy. So much of a cop-out. Like if they don't really wanna fully commit to the ending. Why it is established that they will not remember, just for them to fucking remember everything. My fucking god! It's like if I say I wanna get ice cream, but in reality I wanna get a fucking McChicken nuggets. Fuck me. Fuck. Assassination Classroom is about a Peace Color octopus who is going to destroy the world if, at the end of the school year, a group of students doesn't kill him. And so the journey of the students trying to kill their Peace Color octopus teacher begins. And at first, it seems that the anime is just about the students trying to do elaborated ways to kill their peace color looking teacher motherfucker. Damn, I do write scripts really weird. But in reality, the anime is about the interpersonal problems that each student have and how the teacher helps them to overcome their problems. And so each student begins to like the teacher more and more, to the point that even though they are still trying to kill him, deep down they really don't want to do that anymore. But then it's revealed that the yellow octopus teacher, Koro Sensei, will die. And the anime tries to give you hope that he might be saved. And so the tension of whether the students can save him begin. Back then when I watched this anime, I fully believed that he won't die, because I also grow to like this character so much that the thought of him dying genuinely made me sad. At the last episode, it is clear that he will die. Every student gathers around Koro Sensei, and it sinks more that there's no going back. That no matter how much you don't want this, it will happen. Koro Sensei never really had a salvation. The anime since the beginning has been telling you that he will die. Koro Sensei takes attendance for one last time. And after calling everyone out, he gets ready to be killed. The protagonist says his last goodbye and stabs him. Everyone realizing that he's gone starts crying. And so I was. To me, this ending, although crude, teaches you how to accept the reality of things and to move on and be happy with the memories that you have. While real life does not commit to what they establish. What I don't get is that I feel that there's other ways that you could make the ending happy while also not break the established. For example, at the end of the anime, what if that end scene where they remember instead is just them talking about the real life experiment and how that changed their lives, and then realizing that they have a lot in common, hitting it off and then eventually dating, not realizing that they were in love once. Although tragic that they can't remember, this also shows that no matter what, they were just meant for each other. But of course, they just have to remember. I don't hate endings that are happy. I just want to see an ending in which I could say, yeah, that makes sense. The truth is, happy anime endings are not bad. Endings are sad by nature. Even if an ending is conventionally happy, it is still sad because it ended. So I get it when people want to see their characters sign off in a way that they can feel that the characters are going to live a happy life. But the thing with endings is that to make a meaningful ending, sometimes things cannot really go the way characters want. Plastic Memories, Assassination Classroom, 5 cm per second, Cowboy Bebop, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Code Geass, I Wanna Eat Your Pancreas, what a weird name. All of those animes have a rather sad ending, but if you take their ending and exchange it for something happier, I don't think it will become better, much in the contrary. But even so, what is really a happy ending? To me, Plastic Memories and Assassination Classroom have happy endings, even if it's not the conventional happy ending. In Plastic Memories, both of them enjoyed their time even though they didn't have much left. In Assassination Classroom, everyone was able to find themselves new lives. There's an extra episode that I didn't talk about. Even though I said that I was going to talk about the endings, that was not really the ending of Assassination Classroom. The ending of Assassination Classroom is 7 years later, after the events that happened in the episode 24th and 25th. Everybody grows up and finds themselves in a career that they wanted to go. All thanks that Koro Sensei helped them. At the end of the anime, Nagisa, the protagonist, becomes a teacher because he was inspired by Koro Sensei to become someone who helps other people like him. If you tell me that's a sad and depressing ending, I would say, yeah, it is kinda, but everybody started living their life, doing what they wanted. Also, imagine that even some animes, they just decided to change it to a more happy ending. Like in Death Note, imagine that at the end, Light says, hey, you know what? I kind of want to be a good guy now. And then just turns to the police and then he marries Misa for some fucking reason. Or like in Attack on Titan, instead of the ending we got, it's just Eren being like, "Hey guys, you know, I don't wanna kill anymore. People, please take me home, please. Country roads." And then everybody clapped. Or imagine in Code Geass, after Lelouch sacrificing himself, he just gets resuscitated. Thanks for watching the video, and I'm sorry for not uploading that much. And I've been Jairus, the Whip, and I'll see you next week.